What a crazy time in our world. If anybody had told you this time last year that the entire world would be where it is right now with everything, the crash with the coronavirus and of course the financial markets crashing, and as it stands right now at this time of recording, there are so many people, and I'm talking hundreds of thousands of people who have lost their jobs or who have been displaced. What a crazy time. If anybody told you this time last year that this is where the world would be, would you believe it? I know that I wouldn't. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today, because what I really want to talk about today is something that goes a little bit against the grain. Because here is the truth. One of the most Googled or most YouTube search terms right now is either make money online, side hustles, anything concerning creating a business online. And if you are watching this, then the chances are that you already have a business online, or perhaps you are in the middle of creating one. So this is good. That's a good thing. But what if there was a simple way, a simple formula for you to actually create, or rather increase, the flow of money? Okay, because everybody's rushing to create new things, but what if we could actually use what you already have now and increase the flow of money, the flow of abundance, the flow of income in your life and in your business? What if there was a way? Well, there are. As entrepreneurs, we get paid for what we think. We get paid for how we think. We get paid for what we create and what we put out there in the world. So when I was thinking about, recording this for you specifically, and it really got me thinking, if we get paid for what we think and what we do and what we create, then it makes sense that if you want to increase the flow of money into your life, that the most important thing you have to do is to try and get control of what you can get control of. Now, we can't get control of coronavirus. We can't get control of the market crash and the financial crash. And there are many areas of your life, right, especially if you have been impacted by the pandemic, that you cannot control. But if you want to increase the flow, what can you control? Well, there are three things you can control. The first thing you can control is what you do, right? What you do. The second thing you can control is what you say. And the third thing that you can control is how you react. So let's talk about each one of those things. So what you do as an entrepreneur, what is it that you are doing in the world right now, in the midst of pandemic, in the midst of everybody going crazy, and in the midst of, a lot of things falling to the ground? What is it that you are doing? I am a big believer that we all have a responsibility. If you have an audience, you have a responsibility. Whether you have 5 people following you, 500 people following you, or 5,000 people following you, we all have a responsibility. And if you want to control the flow of money, then what you do has a massive impact on that. So what are the things that you can do? Well, you can show up for your audience, right? You can speak your truth. You can take off the veil and really talk about a lot of the ways that you as an entrepreneur has been impacted, sharing your story to the world, and of course giving your audience tools that will help them through this time. That is what you can do. And for everything that you can do, because you can do it, that means that you have control. And when you have control, you are able to control the flow of money, because it is by putting yourself out there, by being more visible, getting in front of the camera like I am, doing things for your audience. It is because of that they will know you even more, love you even more, and trust you even more. So you have control over what you do. The second thing that you have amazing control over is what you say. Now, I'm a big believer you've got to guard your heart, right? When the pandemic started, one of the things that I did to shield myself is I stopped watching the news. I got off social media, off quite a few of the platforms. I mean, my business is on there, but I made sure that I wasn't there, often or at all. Actually, I went for weeks without personally being on social media. Now, I created content, but because I had put a lot of tools in place, automation, and I have a team, I was able to take time out to look after my kids and to really protect us from the noise out there. Now, What is it about what you are contributing to this world? What is it about what you are saying that will have an impact on the flow of money? Well, it's very simple, right? If you are able to protect yourself, protect your mind, and really work on your mindset, it will impact what you say, because what you say has a lot of power. Now, what you say comes across in your content, what you say comes across in your emails, in your videos, in your programs, in your courses, and but most importantly, what you say, right? It has an impact on how you behave, on how you actually operate, and whether you operate or not. You will for sure by now have noticed that there are lots of entrepreneurs who are unable to do anything for various reasons, for good reason, right? Either they've been stuck in fear, they've been stuck in fear, or they lack clarity, or because they're now confused. And I truly believe, I'm a big believer that what you say, right, the words that come out of your mouth, it has a massive impact on your actions. Right? It has a massive impact on what you do or what you don't do. So as much as you want to have control over what you do, what you say has a massive impact on what you do. So if you have been struggling over the last couple of months, right, or the last few months, or even this entire year, to launch, to have a profitable launch, or to even get started with your business, or perhaps to move your business online, one thing that I really want you to reflect on right now is, what have you been doing? What have you been saying? Because those two things you have control over. Now, the third thing that you have control over is how you react, right? How you react. Now, we all deal with things in so many different ways, okay? I remember when the news of the pandemic, when it started to hit, I was getting all sorts of WhatsApp messages. I'm sure you were too. Everybody is either now a doctor or knows a doctor or has a friend who's a doctor, and everyone's passing things on and really, really putting fear in every single person. I mean, every time I opened my phone, I was constantly afraid of what was to come. And because of that, it started to impact the way that I was reacting. Because fear is a reaction. When you are afraid, it's not just in your mind. It starts in your mind, and then it impacts the way you react. And then here I am saying that you have control over how you react. So how does that work? Well, the truth is that the three things that I have talked about, they're an ecosystem of your mind, okay? It's very, very important that you understand that they all impact your output. They all impact your outcome. They all impact your income. So what you do, what you say, and how you react to things, even though you have control over them, if you let any one of those things go, you will find that it will really, really impact the amount of money that you make. Why? Because it will impact the amount of output that you are able to put out. So if you want to have control over how you react, you've got to do some mindset work. You've got to understand that everybody gets impacted by a pandemic throughout their entire lives. I mean, we had a 9/11, we have now coronavirus, we had SARS, we've had mad cow disease, we've had the wildfires in Australia, we've had volcano attacks, we've had so many things. I could keep going to let you know that this specific pandemic, it's not a standalone, it's not singular, it's not extraordinary. Pandemics happen all the time. Pandemics happen in your own life, in my life, in individuals' lives. A pandemic is anything that isn't going according to your way, that is possibly tragic. So a person, losing their life, or a person being seriously ill, that could be a pandemic in your life. Now, what am I trying to say? I guess the point I'm making is that this will continue to happen, but if you can learn right now how to take control over what you do, over what you say, and over how you react, it means that come what may, no matter what happens, money will still flow, abundance will still flow, you will still be strong, you will make it through. Really, really important for you to know that. Now, one of the quotes that I love the most is by Les Brown, and he says, you can't see a picture if you're in the frame. So you might be thinking, Pam, how do I take control of what I say, what I do, and how I react? Well, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to step out and have a bird's eye view of what is going on around you. right? You can't see the picture if you're in the frame. So that means if you're in it and you are all reactionary and you're allowing things to just happen to you, and you're, watching the news and, picking up messages and being stuck in areas that are not feeding your mind in a positive way, right? Then you're in the frame. And if you're in the frame, you can't see the picture. So you've got to step out of that. And that might mean shutting down a lot of people. That might mean shutting down a lot of external voices. And instead going into your own world and just thinking, well, what do I need to do to feed my spirit? What do I need to do to feed my mind? Who are 2 or 3 people that I just need to follow, because even in the midst of a pandemic, they are breeding positivity, right? What books do I need to be reading? What do I need to listen to? But ultimately, the battle is between your 2 ears. It's in your mind. A lot of people think that making money is all about, the skills and all of those other things, and the marketing and the sales. And yes, those things are extremely important. And you cannot make money without those things. But I promise you that if you have those things, but if you do not have control over your mind, none of those things will matter, because you're not going to make any money. You're not going to move forward. You're not going to have the life that you want. So how do you take control? You take a step out, right? And you start to look and you protect yourself. You can't see the picture if you are in the frame. And by the way, when I'm talking about controlling the flow of money, I'm not saying profiteering from this entire pandemic. And yes, there are people who will do that, but that's not who you are. I am saying that you have a role to play, and so do I. As an entrepreneur, you have a voice, you have an audience, you have the power to create. You have the power to create products, and you have the power to create money. But you will not be able to do that unless you are able to control these 3 things: what you do, what you say, and how you react. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to comment below wherever you are watching this, and just let me know, which of these 3 things do you need to control the most, and how are you going to do that? I'm a big believer in putting in, in really thinking, what is it that I'm going to do and how am I going to do it? I'm putting that into place. So implementing it. So don't just listen to listen, right? Listen to do. So do you need to take more control of what you do? Do you need to take control of what you say? Do you need to take control of how you react? Or is it a combination of all 3? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you are going to do about it. And I will come back and respond and give you some more strategies to help you in each of these areas. I'll see you in the next one.